Hi, I'm Alden. I'm here at the Endeavor Academy Library, and we're talking about a new documentary that's come out today, September 1st. Now, this documentary is a series of talks that have been condensed into particular instances of communication that over 100 individuals from Endeavor Academy have express themselves, and it's been condensed down from a 15 to 20 minute talk into particular instances that seem to communicate at a whole different level. And it's a really remarkable document that allows the viewer to come into an experience of their own instant of transformation. And that's one of the things that sets up the Course in Miracles as different from any spiritual program that I've ever run into. It doesn't deal with a process of awakening that takes time. The entire process of your awakening, if you know how to look at it correctly, can be condensed into a single instant. And so that's one of the things that's happening in this movie, is it does illustrate typical stories as well of suffering and looking for God and finding an answer, of experience of light. But it also just illustrates that all of those procedures are just an instant in time. And that's an experience. You really can't express that conceptually. We're looking for you to have an experience in that instant right now. For instance, right now, not some other time. And so we're looking for you to have that experience. How are you doing? Are you having that experience? We hope so. Now, in spite of the fact that it's just an instant, the human mind is so protected from this experience through eons of training, of memory work where you've encased yourself in a deep cocoon of protection against this light, against this experience that's coming actually from a whole self, which is actually who you really are. It's constantly pressing in on you. There's really nothing that can hurt you because of how you were created. But those kind of thoughts really don't mean anything if your mind is still completely protected in its encasement of fear. So there is a need for mind training to begin to loosen the bondage of your protection against a holy instant, a moment of revelation that you can have. And so that's what this documentary is a great introduction to. It's an introduction to the workbook of A Course in Miracles through a series of instants. And as you practice this workbook, each lesson that you might do is offering you a full day of these instances. So I can't encourage you enough to take a look at the trailer for the movie that's available on the internet. And it's at A Course in Miracles Unleashed.com. And take a look at the trailer and see if you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. Particular instances of a shift in mind to a broader array of consciousness. It's available to you right now. And as you see your brothers beginning this awakening, there really aren't brothers out there having the experience. They're simply aspects of your own mind showing you that you're beginning to awaken as well. So, if you're like everyone else on the planet, you need all the help you can get. And that's the purpose of this new documentary, A Course in Miracles Unleashed. It's really fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. And then, from that perspective that the awakening has begun, you'll start doing the lessons of the workbook in a whole new range of thought. And instead of beginning the lesson at the beginning of the day and then after an hour or two or three you've forgotten the lesson for the rest of the day, the continuing experience of instances of transformation or broadening of consciousness that pop into your awareness, those will give you the motivation then to continue the lesson all through the day. And finally, make your whole life consistent in its experience of transformation. And it'll show you that time truly is being wrapped up, because it never did last more than an instant. Suddenly every day becomes the same, and every minute becomes the same as the last minute, because you're moving through time and space with a spiritual connection to your whole self, which is what God is. You're finding yourself then in true communication with everything around you. Can you feel that? There, that was a nice shift right there. We moved into a different range now. So that's what's really happening, and the world does not have long to go. And you can speed up the whole process of this transformation by entering in and beginning your own awakening, retraining your mind to no longer rely on fear, but to rely on love. It's a whole different way of thinking. And yet it seems like, oh, it's too scary. Well, that's just the old mind thinking, and we're protecting you again from the love that's continually pressing in on you and asking you to join with it. So I love you. Don't wait. You can begin the awakening today. So A Course in Miracles Unleashed.com can be a good beginning. And I'm also involved here at Endeavor Academy with the branch of Endeavor called the Miracles Healing Center. And we offer a tremendous retreat every month or so. And the next one that's coming up is October 9th through the 13th. And of course it says that when minds are joined and they recognize that they're joined, it's impossible to be guilty. And so that's one of the ideas, that it might be helpful for you to come to a retreat here at the Healing Center or perhaps Endeavor Academy, that you can enter in as a physical being and experience yourself as pure mind, joined with other minds, where guilt is no longer possible. That's an idea that might be helpful to you. But it's really just an instant of decision that I no longer want to participate as a separate human being in a world of separate things. I want to know what God is. That just takes an instant. And it can seem like a process, but it's always just an instant. Time really isn't passing. And these are ideas that really don't mean anything initially until you've begun this experiential process. And then everything's, oh, of course. Why didn't I see this before? It's so simple. Time isn't passing. The world really doesn't exist. Okay, well, that's covers about everything we needed to cover today. I'm so glad that you listened to this. If you can hear this, the world is literally shaking in its foundation and about to change entirely, because your mind is changing. So thank you for listening. Please consider the opportunities that are available to you from the Workbook of A Course in Miracles, other ideas like Endeavor Academy, the Miracles Healing Center, retreats. These can all be discovered even in a moment in watching this new documentary that we're putting out. So you're welcome to all of these ideas if they're helpful to you. And they're very helpful to me. I can't recommend all of them more. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll hope to see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.